There is a place deep within you, where every voice falls silent, where names no longer matter, where history fades, and the past no longer follows you like a scar. There is only energy, only vibration, only you and your mind, standing before a threshold to a world you've never dared to enter. And that world is not far away. It is right here, within you, in this very moment, waiting for you to remember that you are the one creating it all. It is not your circumstances, but your mind that has written every scene of your life. Every belief you carry, every story you repeat in your head, every emotion you nurture is energy, shaping reality. You may be living in a play authored by your past, or you may be awakening to rewrite your destiny with conscious intent. Your mind can be a prison, or it can be the doorway to magnificent liberation. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, and your mind is the transmitter, constantly broadcasting that frequency. What you send out is what you receive. When you keep repeating, 'I'm not good enough,' you are not merely thinking, you are reprogramming every cell, sending signals to your DNA. As Bruce Lipton revealed, commanding the universe, 'This is my reality,' and the universe, in its silent neutrality, responds. It does not judge whether you're worthy. It mirrors back what you believe to be true. Neville Goddard called it the law of assumption. You don't need to see to believe. You believe, and then you see. So ask yourself truthfully, what story is your mind telling right now? Is it rebirthing you every day, or recycling an old chapter that no longer serves? You are not a victim. You are the author. Dr. Joe Dispenza said, "When you change your mind, you change your body. When you change your frequency, you change your reality." The question is, have you ever truly chosen what you broadcast, or have you simply allowed an outdated mind to run the show? Awakening is not a mystical light descending from the heavens. Awakening is the moment you look directly at the old programs, the limiting beliefs, and say, "No, I choose again." And that choice, even if it begins as the faintest vibration, can open the door to an entirely new frequency. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to be still enough to feel what's really being broadcast from you. David R. Hawkins mapped the scale of consciousness. Every emotion carries a frequency. Shame and guilt rest at the bottom. Love, presence, and creation soar at the top. Every time you choose forgiveness, you are not just healing the past. You are raising your frequency. You are shifting from a mind led by the unconscious to a soul choosing with awareness. The question is not, can you do it? The question is, will you allow yourself to? Your mind is a quantum field. It can rebirth you in this moment if you stop replaying the old story. You don't have to heal everything to begin. You begin, and in the beginning, you are healed. Eckhart Tolle reminds us, the present moment is all you ever have. When you become fully present, the past dissolves like mist. Your mind ceases to be a prison. It becomes an instrument, a vessel, resonating with the symphony of your soul. You can return again and again to that sacred stillness within. And remember, you are the one holding the pen. The universe merely responds. It does not judge. It listens. So the only question left is, what are you saying to it? Look closely at the reality around you, not through the lens of judgment, but with the eyes of someone witnessing the very signals they once broadcast into the world. Nothing you see is random. Everything is a reflection, not of fleeting desires, but of the frequency you've held the longest within your heart. If life keeps repeating old wounds, if the same spirals keep returning again and again, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because your mind still chooses to believe that you are not worthy of something else. Abraham Hicks calls it the stream of energy. You cannot swim upstream by resisting. You shift direction by shifting your vibration from within. Change does not arise from frantic action or control. It is born from one quiet choice: to tune into a new frequency. Your beliefs are magnets, your emotions are fuel, and your mind is the programmer behind every experience you see. Dolores Cannon once said, "Your soul came here not to suffer, but to remember." You did not come to live lost in the forgetfulness of the ego. You came to awaken, right here inside this very reality, and realize you are the creator of it all. When you think of something with full belief, full feeling, full presence, the universe vibrates in harmony with you, not because you begged for it, but because you became it. There is no need to search outside yourself. The answers have always been within, beneath the dust of fear and the layers of old programming. Ram Dass said, "Be here now, not just to find peace, but to become the conscious creator, fully alive in the present moment, where all power begins." Feel this in silence. What are you broadcasting to the world? What vibration are you sending right now? Is your presence building a heaven or continuing a loop? Your mind can destroy, or it can rebirth everything, one moment at a time. Every thought you choose to keep, every emotion you choose to feed, every story you choose to repeat. What are you choosing? Osho said, "True freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's being free from the mind's control. And that is your greatest power. The power to free yourself from unconscious patterns that no longer serve. Your mind is not the enemy. It is a tool. And like any tool, if you don't direct it, it will direct you. And then you live unconsciously, reactively, in repetition, until one day you stop and you listen. You listen to what is truly speaking within you. Is it fear or intuition? The ego or the soul? An echo from the past or a calling from the now? You cannot change the past, but you can stop it from writing the future for you. And that is true rebirth. When you choose again, with presence, with love, with unconditional trust, everything begins to shift. Not because you forced it, but because you changed your frequency. Healing doesn't begin when the outside world is finally quiet. It begins when the silence inside you becomes loud enough that you finally hear yourself for the very first time. You begin to live free from old programming. You act from a deeper place. You follow intuition as your compass. You feel gratitude. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're still breathing, still choosing, still awake. And that is the greatest power you will ever hold. And then there will come a moment, perhaps tonight or in the stillness of some early morning, when you no longer need proof to believe, no longer need anyone to confirm it, no longer wait for signs from the outside, because something within you, unspoken, undeniable, will have stirred, a knowing that you are the source of all vibration. You are no longer the seeker, you are the transmitter. And when you shift your frequency, the entire universe changes how it responds to you. This is not blind faith. This is science. This is energy. This is quantum physics in its purest form, where the observer creates reality. Gregg Braden once said, "Emotion is the language of the field." So ask yourself, what are you saying to the universe through the emotions you carry each day? When you worry, you are commanding reality. "I do not believe I'm supported." But when you're grateful, you're sending out the signal, "I already have. I already am." Nothing happens outside of you. Not a chance encounter, not an open door, not even the dream that pulls you toward a place you never thought you'd go. All of it is a response to the field of vibration you constantly broadcast. Look closely. It's not the world that hurts you. It's not others who limit you. It's the version of yourself you're holding in your mind. That's shaping the life you're living. Bruce Lipton showed us. Genes are not destiny. It is belief that turns biological expressions on or off. Think you're sick. The body reacts. Think you're being reborn. The entire immune system responds. It's not magic. It's a very real shift in frequency. The more present you become, as Thich Nhat Hanh teaches, the more gently healing unfolds. not by force, but through mindfulness, soft as morning light. And from that place, you stop seeing life through the eyes of a victim. You begin seeing through the eyes of a creator. Every old wound becomes fuel for compassion. Every scar becomes a doorway to deep empathy. This is not just philosophy. It is a way of living. You can continue living through the old mind, like a record stuck on repeat, or you can awaken. Right now, take one deep breath and whisper, "I choose again." No reason needed, no evidence required, just one quiet decision. Because you are the wave maker. You are the one lighting up the map of consciousness with the frequency you carry. And this world, fierce, beautiful, chaotic, miraculous, is only mirroring back to you, not to punish, but to invite you to become the highest version of yourself. Your mind can hold you captive in chains of the past, or it can set you free into the boundless space of creation. What do you choose? When you stand at the threshold between the past and the present, when old voices whisper in your mind, "You're not enough. You'll never change. It's too late." Will you believe them, or will you rise as the master of your own reality? Because here's the truth. You are not those voices. You are the space they echo in, and you are the silence, powerful enough to dissolve them all. And once you realize that, you stop running from the darkness. You step into it, like a warrior of light. Darkness is not your enemy. It is the place where the forgotten parts of you reside, where your soul once whispered, "Remember, you came here to reclaim your power." Awakening doesn't come by avoiding pain. It comes when you are brave enough to sit with the truth, in stillness, without fear, without defense. And the truth is, your mind has been programmed by fear, by limitation, by conditioning. But you are not the programming. You are life itself, rising through those very limits. Like a seed breaking through the hardened earth, like light piercing through cracks you once thought impossible. When you are fully present, the mind no longer dominates. It becomes a tool, a bridge, for your soul's purest frequency to flow through. You begin to live, not to prove, not to control, not to please. You live to radiate your light, to be fully, unapologetically you. Sadhguru once said, "Freedom is not something that happens outside. It happens when you are no longer ruled from within, when you're no longer pulled by the voices in your head, when you sit in silence and simply observe without attachment. In that moment, you are not just free. You become a conscious creator. And from that space, miracles begin to unfold, not through effort, but through alignment with the flow of life. You stop searching for love. You become it. You stop chasing opportunities. You attract them. You stop forcing healing. You are the healing. Your presence softens the room. Your voice carries a new vibration. Your eyes become mirrors, where others can see themselves and long to return home. This is power no book can teach. This is the kind of power that only comes when you choose to live authentically, consciously, moment by moment, with a mind that is free. And then, you no longer ask, "Can I really do this?" You ask, "What limitation am I still believing in?" Because from this point forward, you know one thing: every limitation you live by is something you are still choosing to support with your belief and your vibration. And the moment you stop feeding it, it disappears, like smoke in the wind. You don't need to fight it. You only need to stop agreeing with it. Your mind, once a prison, becomes a lighthouse. Once a storm, it becomes sacred ground where new realities are born. What do you choose when every cell in your body begins to remember that you are not just living in a body? You are operating a living frequency, a field of energy capable of bending reality itself? You are no longer the one searching for miracles. You are the miracle. The one who turns breath into reality. The one who transforms thought into experience. The one who brings the invisible into form. Every thought you hold, every emotion you sustain, every action taken from deep presence is a declaration to the universe. I am awake. And when the universe hears that signal, everything begins to reorganize. Opportunities arrive under the guise of coincidence. Connections align through mystery. Doors open where once you only saw dead ends. But nothing is mysterious. It is the response of a quantum reality, listening to the rhythm of your heart. Deepak Chopra calls it the silent point, the still center where all creation begins. You don't need to chase the current of life. You simply return to the stillness within. And from there, the current shifts on its own. You act, not from fear of lack, but from the fullness of being. You speak, not to impress, but to express truth. You show up, not to be loved, but because you are love made manifest, and the world feels you, not through eyes, but through vibration, because everything is energy. People may not remember what you did, but they will never forget how they felt around you. And you can become the one who calms the storm, who grounds the space, simply by being a presence reborn. You begin to see difficulties, not as enemies, but as vibrational tests, inviting you to prove who you've truly become. Every challenge comes, not to break you, but to crack open the shell of the old self you've outgrown. You don't need to run from the darkness. You are here to step into it, carrying the light. Edgar Cayce once said, "The mind is the builder, the body is the canvas, and the soul is the artist." And you are the one holding all three. So what will you paint? A picture confined by the past, or a masterpiece born of the light awakening within you? You don't need something to happen to be enough. You are enough. The moment you stop believing that you're not. The moment you sit down, take a deep breath, and remember, I don't have to chase. I only have to choose. Choose the higher frequency. Choose love over fear. Choose trust over doubt. Choose to act from presence, not react from an old survival script. Your mind may have once destroyed dreams, broken trust, sabotaged relationships, even shattered your sense of self. But that very same mind, when purified, when guided, when aligned with a higher consciousness, becomes the source of every miracle you've ever longed for. It ceases to manipulate and begins to collaborate. You no longer fight your mind. You sit beside it, like an old friend, and whisper, from now on, we create something different, together. A reality no longer repeating the old chapters, but written from the highest energy you carry. Love, gratitude, presence. What do you choose? When you stand at the threshold of transformation, when nothing outside of you can define you anymore, and every answer now echoes only from within. This is the place where there is no room for, I should, I must, or I'm afraid. This is the place where you remove every mask and stand bare, bathed in the light of your own soul. No more playing the victim, no more trying to control, no more clinging, only a human, choosing moment by moment how they will live. Will you live as a hopeless resistance against life, or as a vibrating declaration, I am life, awakening? Your mind, when no longer ruled by fear, when no longer looping old programs like a broken record, becomes the greatest miracle of creation. No longer the wall that blocks all possibilities, but the door through which wonders are born. You begin to feel frequency more clearly. When you feel gratitude, every cell opens. When you accept, all resistance dissolves. When you love, the world shifts, even if nothing outside of you changes. True change never begins in the world. It always begins with the frequency you choose to hold right now. David R. Hawkins taught, if you raise your vibration by even a few levels, you don't just shift your personal reality, you elevate the entire field of human consciousness. Pause for a moment and imagine this. Every time you choose forgiveness over anger, faith over doubt, love over fear, you are moving the current of our collective evolution. You don't need a microphone. You don't need millions of followers. You just need you, fully present, truly transformed, living in light, And then, from the very mind that once brought you to your knees, a new doorway opens. That sacred space where you're no longer trying to become something. You simply are. You are pure energy, true frequency, untouched presence. You become the still ground in a chaotic world, the steady heartbeat amidst a sea of shifting vibrations. And that inner steadiness radiating from you changes everything you touch, not through effort, but through your state of being. You don't need to strive to become higher. You only need to let go of everything that you are not. You don't have to prove you're worthy. You just have to stop believing the story that you're not. And in the moment you choose, not just a thought, but a new vibrational state, your mind is no longer the birthplace of limitation, but the starting point of the impossible made real. And now, in this final stillness, when there's nothing left to prove, nothing left to hold on to, you stand there, not as someone seeking salvation, but as a soul who has returned to its original power. You no longer ask the universe for anything. You become the answer. You no longer look outward, begging for the light. You are the light, not blinding, not loud, but deep, unmoving, and unshakable. Your mind, once the enemy, once a labyrinth with no exit, has become your companion, a loyal servant to the highest calling of your soul. You no longer know the law of attraction. You are its flow. You no longer recite teachings about presence. You live as if presence is breathing through you. You don't try to heal anymore. You simply are. And everything you touch begins to heal itself, because you're no longer led by fear. You're guided by intuition, the native language of the universe. It's no longer, I want to change my life. It's, I've changed my frequency, and the world is responding. You walk, not with haste, not with hesitation, but with knowing. Knowing that everything is unfolding at the right time, in the right place, according to the exact frequency you carry. You speak less, you feel more, you demand less, you show up more, you try less, but you create more, because you're no longer working against the universe, but with it. And you realize there's nothing to prove, no one to convince, no time to waste on low frequencies pulling you back. Because you have become your true self, not through theory, but through choice, repeated daily in every breath. You are not perfect, but you are real. In truth, vibrates higher than any fear could ever reach. And if there's one thing you carry forward from this moment, let it be the memory of the power you hold every time you choose again. Choose presence, choose love, choose trust, choose not to give up, not to prove anything to anyone, but because you've remembered who you are. Your mind can destroy or rebirth everything. It can make you forget all the light inside you, or help you remember every fragment of your soul you left behind along the way. And in the end, it all comes down to one choice, one vibration, one decision made in silence. What do you choose? Right now, right here, in this very breath. What do you choose?